we have to decide, are those jobs just going to be exported and we're still going to have those emissions? And come up to see my facility, I'd say I'm a lot more efficient and a lot more friendly to the environment than anything's ever being done in China. You know, and our plants that feed that energy obviously are a lot more regulated. And that's the question, how much regulation? So again, energy is very important. So one side of it, cap and trade, carbon emissions, those things scare the heck out of me. Right now, though, with the gas the way it is, it's had a direct effect. It's really helped us in keeping those prices and making us competitive right now. So that's very important. On the healthcare side, definitely it's something of a concern. Right now, I don't know if I should go into my solutions. I'm always a believer in competition, and I would say take a look at any night watching TV. How many car commercial, automotive insurance do you see, and how much competition do you see in that area? Competition drives down prices. The question is, how do we develop that competition? And I'll pass my thoughts along to you, but something that my own company has been able to do, but I'm afraid of it all disappearing. First off, our company provides a plan in which every employee has access to preventative medicine. They're encouraged to get checkups, 100% covered. We want them to go out there. So I need to start off with that because the next part may think it's counterproductive. We give every employee $1,200 to start the year off with. That's their money. At the end of the year, if they don't use it, it's theirs. They can use it for things that aren't covered. It can be switched over into their retirement plan. It could be used for, let's say they want composite, you didn't even say the word, cosmetic surgery. My wife tells me I need a nose job, so if we save up money, maybe I'll get my nose reduced. That's not covered under most plans. But after the $1,200 that we give them, if they use it, it's gone. And then obviously the healthcare, the company actually insures the next portion of it, and then the healthcare system takes over, the providers take over. What this does, though, it makes them a partner. It makes them personally responsible. I bet you never did this, but has anybody here ever, well, let's first off, has anybody had an MRI scan? How many people? Come on. So just about everybody? Did you know that there's a huge difference in cost depending on where you go? You probably don't care. Because guess what? You're not paying for it. So you can go to, there's a place on Green Tree Road back where I live in Pittsburgh that does it for about a third of the cost of what the hospital will do. And most people will go to the place that's easiest and they don't care about the cost. My employees care because they're spending their money first. Once they spend that money, then they start spending my money because I gave it to them to spend. It makes them a partner in it. And that keeps the healthcare costs down. If we could transfer the burden, and this would be a tough one for people to understand, from a businessman, it makes it sound like I'm just trying to dump it out there. But you shop your car insurance. You try to go with companies that are efficient. When you have competition and the user, the person getting that healthcare, involved in the decision and vested in the decision, they're able to help bring those costs down. That's my view of how we change the healthcare system. And in my company, frankly, I know it's changing and it scares me of what's going to happen in the next couple of years. But for right now, my health costs have been fairly low. Last year, there wasn't a single employee that went over $1,200. I have a pretty healthy workforce. But they all had money left in their accounts afterwards. They're all still healthy. And they get their preventative medicine is all covered for them. And, you know, their prescriptions, things of that nature they're getting. But again, they're not using the money, they're able to hold it. So they're looking at spending it wisely and not running to an emergency room when you have a cold. Right now, there's no incentive to change those. The system that we put together, partnership with our employees, has changed that quite a bit. So I covered energy, a little bit of healthcare. I'll throw another tidbit you didn't just throw in there, but as a small manufacturer, to grow. Frankly, right now, we're pulling back some on our growth, and the reason is capital investment. People are afraid. The climate across the country affects me as well. To grow, and with the gasoline energy cost as well, I pay my transportation cost weekly. I get paid by true value 120 days after I ship the product. There's always cash flow concerns with any company. The energy cost going up is really affecting my business. It's taking cash out of the business. And even my profits, obviously it's good to have profits, but you've got to pay Uncle Sam. Well, if I'm getting paid in 120 days, Uncle Sam wants paid within the year that the money's earned. Anything that drains money out is a hindrance. Right now, the corporate tax rate in the United States, and even affects small businesses, is, as of about 3 weeks ago, I believe, Japan changed their laws on their corporate taxes and lowered them. Now the United States is the highest corporate tax rate of any nation in the world. That hurts growth. I'm here to tell you that a big concern of mine for future growth, I have to conserve cash, is just to pay my tax bills. And again, you might have profits, but about 90% of companies that go bankrupt are profitable. They have to worry about the cash flow. So anything that pulls that cash out is a hindrance. So I think I've talked enough and preached a little bit. But,
I guess I shut the lights out on you.
that was my cue that you set on.
We're going to open it up to questions. A couple of comments on what Mark said. He talked about competition. One of the Republican-led House's plans for health care reform. I don't want you to think that we want to simply repeal the president's health care law and then be set there with a broke-down health care system that definitely needs some work. Because we know we need health care reform. We simply need common sense health care reform. You talked about competition. We want to give you and all Americans the ability to take your health care with you when you go from state to state or from job to job. Increasing competition, you heard Mark say it. It's a business concept. When you increase competition, it lowers cost and it increases quality. Because why? Because for Mark to be competitive as a tool manufacturer, he's got to make a better tool at a lower cost than his competitors, or he's not going to make very many sales. Same thing applies to insurance companies, healthcare insurance companies. He talked about the $1,200 that they gave their employees. A very similar concept is health savings accounts. That's part of our plan as well, with pre-tax dollars, allowing the employees to set aside pre-tax dollars into a health savings account to offset those routine health care things instead of going to the emergency room. Even being able to use some of that money to purchase a catastrophic policy for the cancers and the heart attacks and those kinds of things, but at the end result at a much lower cost than what you would be paying for today's healthcare policies. And then there are a few other things. Tort reform. We want our physicians to be able to be providing health care, not spending their time in courtrooms fighting off frivolous lawsuits. So we want to do that as well. And there are other things that we want to do for our health care system that will incentivize the private sector. But the main thing we want to do is get unelected bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. out of the business and let you be in charge of your health care. We're going to take questions now. So Mark, stand back up here with me if you will, and we're going to let folks ask us questions. And it doesn't have to be on any particular subject that we've talked about. It can be on something else, because we're here to hear from you. Yeah, Terry, I saw this gentleman's hand first. I'll get you next.
This is more of a comment than a question. I do have a question for later.
Jack, you give him the mic so that everybody can see.
New York, New York.
There you go.
I get a mic and I get...
Go for it.
I don't have the ears. In any case, my comment is, as you said earlier, Congressman, about passing a budget in the Senate. Now, they have to have a budget by April 15th, it's in the Constitution, etc., etc. Why do we have to pass a bill to get them to do their job? Where is the penalty in there now that they're not doing their job?
There is no penalty, and see, that's the
Right.
problem. That's the
Problem.
problem. Our founding fathers